fences and more. Call Wallace and Wallace. Overhead doors installed. Just call us 452-2700. WallaceFences.com.
Kurtis from Wallace and Wallace here. Next step is putting posts in the ground. What I'm going to show you is the length and the size of the pipe and tell you why. This is a 2 3/8 post. This is what we use on our corners, our ends, also called the terminal posts. We like to beef up our corners, ends, and gate posts for the longevity of the fence and make sure that there's no shifting over time. This is a 1 7/8 post, also called the line post. This is what we put in between our terminal posts. It's the ones that we've spaced evenly during our layout. This is our top rail, 1 5/16 in diameter. It's the trim piece that we put on top of our fence to attach the wire to and to solidify the frame. Now we're gonna get to laying out posts. Now that we have the posts laid out, I'm going to mark the depths of the posts so we know how far to pound them into the ground. So here we're doing a 48-inch fence. What you want to do is leave the posts about 4 feet 3 inches, 4 feet 6 inches, just to allow some play with the ground, any type of hills or bumps that might get in the way. We just want to make sure that we don't go too far and go beyond a point of no return. So here, what I'm going to do, because we are doing a 4 feet fence, we want to leave that 3 to 6 inches of play. I'm going to find my 4 foot mark and just mark it 3 inches past. 51 inches is what I want to leave out of the ground. I'm going to mark my next post the same way. Give me that 51 inches out of the ground. Make a line, little arrow so we know where we're going. So for our terminals, we like a little bit of a decorative look to it. You always want to have it sit about 3 to 4 inches on top of your top rail. So for the terminal posts, I'm going to mark it 6 inches above our destination point, which is the 4 feet. So I'm going to mark it at 54 inches out of the ground. All right, I'm going to show you how to use the hand pounder to pound in the post. You could rent gas-powered ones from rental places. And if you buy your chain link from us, we're going to lend this to you at no charge. For the other two, I did use my hydraulic pounder, but I am going to show you how to use the hand pounder for this one. You do see our mark, our depth that we're gonna go. So I'm gonna bring it close to the string line. And what you wanna do is you wanna get your post plumb to the string line here. My post is level. I'm gonna start pounding. You're gonna wanna stop every 6 inches to a foot to check and re-level your post. Tweak as needed, any slight adjustments in getting the post level. As you can see, I've made my ground height to my mark there, so we know that our depth is good. Occasionally, you're gonna hit rocks, you're gonna hit tree roots. You can leave your post if it is past that 2.5 foot mark, or you may have to pull it out of the ground, shift it over a couple inches, and try pounding your post again. When using a hand pounder, you can get these scuff marks that you see here. So there's two options. You could wrap the post in plastic or some cloth fabric before you pound it, or you can get some touch-up paint just to clean up the post a little bit. Here I'm going to show you a scenario of hand digging a post. When you would hand dig a post is when there'd be any utility in your way, either power, gas, potentially a private line, pool lines, pool equipment, sprinkler lines, anything like that. I'm going to show you how to hand dig so you can safely get the post around it. We got a needle nose spade right there in the middle. We got our auger, and some people choose to use what we call clam diggers or post hole diggers. Now it's important to always start your hole with the needle nose spade. Anything can potentially be within that top 6 inches to a foot. Kind of do what we call a soft dig. So if we can expose anything, we're not using the clam diggers that could potentially puncture it. There is no power lines here, but I did come across a little tree root. So let's just say that this was an electrical line. What we're gonna wanna do is shift the post either to the left or to the right a little bit. So to give you a quick little scenario, it's not happening here, but let's just suggest that there's an eaves trough, downspout right here, and there's water constantly being saturated by the ground here. This post you're gonna wanna make sure is deeper than usual. And the reason for that is being that the frost level goes about 3 to 4 feet in the ground, and we're gonna try to beat that frost level. If seasons do change, you will see that this post will start jacking up over time. So you wanna go 2 to 3 feet more than you usually would. In that situation, we'd go 5 to 6 feet in the ground. Before we move on any further, I did want to mention something about our terminal posts. We do use the heavier 2 3/8 terminal posts here at Wallace & Wallace for our 4-foot fence. It is not a necessity if you want to save a couple bucks. If you want to go any higher, I do suggest using the 2 3/8 post. Now that we have the posts pounded, they're level, they're plumb, we're moving on to the next step, framing.